Yo, what's going on, guys?
What's up, Brandon? Hey, Matt.
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Doing
Good,
well.
good. Different than most days. We haven't talked that much today, only through text. So it's good actually talking to you guys.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Been,
yeah,
been
we,
been a busy day, I guess.
oh, dude, super busy and a lot of awesome stuff. I don't know. I'm not going to get into it on here, but Sean, not sure if you saw the DM from Hafka. He just sent one a minute ago, and awesome stuff.
Sweet.
Yeah, man. Well, don't want to get too deep into a market update. Yesterday ended up taking us and due to me, not anybody else, like 40 minutes to get through it. But I do see we got Bitcoin up about 1.5% since yesterday at this time. So it's at 86. Hoping, I think I'm hoping that we eclipse that 90 even mentally in the short term so that we have a pretty smooth next couple of months. Matt, what are you thinking?
Yeah, 90, 94 would be great. Um, who knows? Who knows? It's kind of all event driven. I think it's the market has a lot going for it to go up. I mean, the market has a lot to look forward to. Yeah, and something we might talk about today might be one of those catalysts.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think so. Seeing mm, more mainstream chatter than I've ever seen in my life, but if it's not being reflected, then I don't know what it means. But every I think optic or headline would be a positive, and I think a lot of it is delayed positivity. A lot of it's nothing happening now, but hopefully happening soon. So yeah, could be a great next year, which we talk about all the time. I want to get into a little more on the ordinal side today, because yesterday we stayed with Bitcoin primarily, and I want to talk about Enigma and I want to talk about Eternals. Sean, maybe can you send me that link for the Enigma? I want to pull that up while we're doing it. Where would be the best place to find that?
Magic Eden.
Okay, cool.
Type in
Um,
Enigma
okay.
by CyberC.
Yeah, we had Cyber C on for what I thought to be one of the most interesting spaces that we've had, um, and I think it was before his launch. Sean, do you have any update on how that's doing or how
So,
it did?
it hasn't been released yet, or it hasn't gone to people's wallets. But it is up on Magic Eden. I've been playing around with it for like the last 20 minutes. It's really cool. Well, if you pull it up, we can
I'm gonna
walk through.
pull one up right here. I got it. Just wanted to find one that I like, which means nothing, but I did want to see one that I like them all. But I'm trying to find like which one would I buy.
So yeah, if you double click on it, it's reacting to the current Bitcoin block right now. How many transactions are going through? And if you double click on it and scroll down, you can actually pick the specific block you want to do. Like you could do the halving block or whatever. It would probably have a lot going on, and then you can record it and download it. But yeah, so you can put it on different blocks, but like it says current block, 890598. Average fee is 1314. Transaction count 3745. So it gives you real time data on what's actually happening on this block of Bitcoin. It's really stinky cool.
Yeah, dude, like beyond cool. It's annoying because every time I look at it, I love it, and I just think about where I want it. And I'm not a rah rah every art on Bitcoin kind of guy. This is fascinating to me. Like I'm like a visual learner, like truly. Nothing audio, not visual all day long ever since I was younger, and I could stare at this for an hour, and I feel like I'd be able to understand Bitcoin better just by looking at this art. Let alone the fact that it's dope looking. It's just so functionally cool.
Yeah, it reminds me of like Tron motorcycles. I don't know if
Yep.
might be past your time, but there used to actually be a game and you'd have to turn. But yeah, the little lines cruising through. And then I guess if those lines are accepted into the block, then they shoot up at the end. I'm not really exactly sure what's going on, but yeah, I want to put one on a TV and display just so I can see what's going on all day long with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, totally. Matt, go ahead.
If you know a couple things, like a couple points about it, like what data it's reading, it's a great showpiece.
It is.
Yeah, if you don't, not I feel like I'm glazing in cyber C at all times, but if you don't know, I'd argue it's even better. Like, not saying like you want to, but like if you don't know, like again, if somebody was explaining to me how Bitcoin works the first time and they were showing me this visual, I would never forget, ever. It's not random information you have to kind of categorize in your brain. You can actually see it. It just reinforces. I don't know. I think it's the coolest thing. I think it's one of the coolest things I've seen ever.
Wimby said it's being dropped tomorrow, he thinks. Or he said he asked a question, but I think that's right. So
it's fully minted, right?
Yeah. And I know they were having like a 200 mint on Magic Eden. I don't know if that actually happened yet or not. But I connected it to a bitmap I have in one of my wallets. I connected it to my OCM Dimensions, one of the 300 3D ones, and then I connected it. I think I got like 5 of them, and then I connected to 3 Genesis. So what's being displayed, I think, is actually tied to the traits in those different ordinals. So it's really cool.
Really,
Okay.
That's crazy.
Can you see yours now, Sean? Which one's yours?
I saw on Discord people have been finding theirs, but I didn't have enough time to figure out how to figure out which one's mine because I was cleaning out the room in the back for the roaster. So it's looking really good back there. I'm trying to hang some art and make it cool. So I've been busy at that most of the day.
Dude, that's awesome, and I'm most excited for that. Sorry, Cyber C, but the roaster and all of that going in is huge and a massive piece of the puzzle for us moving forward. So super excited to see that.
Vivid Gallery. That's what Cyber C's on. A bunch of other cool artists are on Vivid Gallery. So they just said GM in our comments.
Oh, nice. All right.
They're not listed. So tomorrow if people are listing them, they'll be available to buy on the secondary market on Magic Eden.
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably.
They haven't been dropped in people's wallets yet. So I think that's tomorrow. Vivid, is it tomorrow?
I like how different all of them are.
Yeah, and it looks like some of them are recognizable to me. I think I saw the Space Needle in one. I don't know if these are actual cities or fictitious cities. Something tells me they're actual cities. But dude, how did he do all this?
I don't know.
It doesn't because I don't know. I mean, I guess he does it all from the code side, but it's just wild.
Yeah, it's kind of different than a traits element to a collection. I guess that probably is traits, but I mean, it looks a little more complex.
Yeah, and what was he saying? Because he was talking about anybody that see this, all 3 of us. So I'm assuming a lot of people immediately say, more than I've ever heard another collection say, I want to display this, and it doesn't sound super difficult, right? You need a screen. And it needs to essentially be a dedicated tower to it, right? You get like a Mac, whatever you call those things, like the
iMac or the box computer.
Yeah. and that can handle it in real time. I think that's what you need. And dude, it's worth. I mean, even if that's not, because to me, I'm like, oh damn, that's expensive. But I don't think for this. This is like, because it's beautiful. You want to show it, but B, it's so functional. I feel like if you're at your desk, you could just look up and see what's going on, like how like it gives like your finger on the pulse of it in real time, which is just dope.
Yeah, me and my dad went through. Well, he was texting me. He's like, I want one of these on the wall, like I was saying before. But we went through because he wants everything hidden, like if there needs to be a computer, he doesn't want it running from his laptop. So, be like the iMac, we could just hide the iMac in the wall somehow. So,
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing because I used to have, when I ran all the restaurants, everything was on digital screens. This is going back 16, 17 years ago. So back then, like there was not the same options. And I used to have to get dedicated. I used Apple TVs. I don't know if that would work I don't think it would work for this, but it's a nightmare. And then you have to conceal it. So you have to put something on the back, because I was a nut about any wires or anything like that. And it was a nightmare. I'm assuming there's got to be even all-in-one solutions, maybe not, but again, worth it, I think. And obviously you'd be able to show other art you have as well.
Can you drop the link to our stream if David wants to come up? You can.
Of course, man. It's in the chat?
In the chat.
All right, let me get
He can come up for 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm getting over to it. Tell him to give me 1 sec. I just for ease, I just dropped it in the comments on the post, on my post. I don't see. Oh no, I can get right over to the thing here. So he's there.
There it is.
It's in both. So.
Okay. We can get him up here for 5 minutes.
Yeah, man. No, that's awesome. I don't want to change topics before he gets up here. Let's go back to Enigma, which is right at the top of OpenSea anyway. Or I'm sorry, OpenSea of Magic Eden.
It's the new OpenSea.
Yeah. That was a fall off. They just fell from graces quickly. I'm going to pull up another one here while we're waiting for Vivid to come in. Oh, look at this bad boy.
Remember last bowl around, all this was supposed to be on Polkadot?
No, that precedes me. We got Vivid in here, I think.
It's CyberSea, huh? CyberSea is Vivid, pretty sure.
Oh.
Yeah, I was wondering that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he came in. I think we're still waiting on
This is collections on Vivid, and I'm like, maybe that's a site that holds multiple collections.
Yeah, it holds a bunch of collections.
Oh, but if it's still him, that's cool.
I'm hearing beeps. There it is. Gerard, what's up, bro?
Let's go. Hi, guys. Let me try to. Okay, I cannot put my headphones, but it's okay. Let's go. I was surprised. I was just scrolling down Twitter and I see Enigma there. I was like, oh my god, what's happening?
We're praising it. We're praising it.
Oh, big time praises. We had CyberSea on either last week or the week before last, and have talked about it quite a bit. I think it's one of the coolest things that I've ever seen on chain. So yeah, I know there were some questions. Yeah, what do you got going on?
Well, first today it was a surprise for a lot of people because they saw the collection on Magic Eden and and people are smart. I think that we did it well. People can easily, trace back their linked enigmas through Magic Eden. That was also something super important for us, that people can, find okay, now I'm getting an Enigma, to which collection is it connected or not, to get the full set, because the linking feature in this collection is very important, and we didn't want people to miss on this. And it looks like that even before explaining it, people already know how to do that. So I'm happy and excited for tomorrow.
How do I find mine?
Well, okay, so it's easy. Go to the collection, and it depends if you have an on-chain monkey or a dimensions. What did you connect it?
I did dimensions, Genesis, and a bitmap.
Okay, so if you go to the collection page, you will see that you have three different options to filter link collections. First, you can either check if it's linked or not. So you will have like the 700 and a bit linked inscriptions. You can also filter by collection. So you can say, okay, I only want to see the ones that are linked to dimensions. And the last thing that you can do is you can also link by inscription ID. So if you go to the inscription ID of one of your connected pieces, just have to copy it there, and you will see the Enigma connected. So tomorrow we'll do a show like you, and we'll show it to everybody. But yeah, it's some alpha here in case you want to, to pick a grail in secondary, or maybe someone that is selling a link inscription because he doesn't know how it works. But yeah,
That's super cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to see them listed. So yeah.
And Gerard, you're with. Are you Vivid? Is that your platform?
yeah, exactly. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. So yeah, I'm Gerard, so the director of the gallery. We've been working with CyberSea on this and with On-Chain Monkey, and I work with Piero, so he's our CTO, and we are together running Vivid.
Well, dude, I would love. I know you're in a time crunch, but I would. We talk about Vivid a lot, and I think it's a beautiful, beautiful platform. Like visually, super appealing. I know Hafka uses it. We had him on. We had Doc T on, and all that. I would love to have you on sometime to talk more about Vivid if you're down.
Yeah, of course. Well, thank you so much. I'll be glad to join, and we also do a show, so it'd be cool to do another show. We know with a lot of collectors that connected Grail pieces like dimensions to Enigma. We can do a cool show to tell a little bit more about Enigma and how does it work, and why this is revolutionary, at least to us. But it feels that people are also understanding. To me, CyberSea's work, it's the equivalent of ringers or all of these collections on Ethereum that use blockchain, and people need to realize that it's only the beginning, and CyberSea is one of the few doing this.
Yeah, man, I agree. I think it's beautiful, and I would love to dive into it deeper. I'll hit you in DMs, and I would love to hear when your space is just to listen to it, or your stream. But let's get you back in here. I'd love to break it down more.
Yeah, let's do that. Well, guys, so what we can do, because I need to leave now, and it was a pleasure joining here. But tomorrow for the release, so all that participated, you will receive an airdrop. But we will also go live like you, and we will invite a lot of people on stage, a lot of collectors. So if you want to join, it will be at the same time. Magic Eden Launchpad starts. We will also go live. You will receive the airdrop, everything at the same time, so we can all have fun and celebrate together. Okay?
Love it, man. Let's do it.
Cool.
Let's do
Let's
it.
go.
Let's
Perfect.
go.
Hey, good to meet you.
Let's go. Thank you so much, guys, for showcasing our work, and yes, see you tomorrow.
Sounds good, Gerard.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye, buddy.
Ciao.
Well, he's a lively fellow, He's I like him.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I got texts coming in from Fenny, which are hilarious and ridiculous. But so I got distracted there for a second. Fenny's doing our next water tower installation, and I think I freaked him out because we're making a color change, as you guys know. So I put it in. I put the existing image in Sora and just changed it so he could literally see what it looks like, and he almost shit his pants. It was like a magic trick. So it's yeah. Anyway, so that's exciting.
I wonder if he already bought the paint, you know.
What's that?
But anyway.
No, he didn't. No. He's all good. He's all good. He was going to get them manufactured in our color in yellow. It's happy he didn't do that. It's not for whatever. It's weird. Some stuff from spending from spending a lot of time there. The inconvenience of being that remote in Entebbe in Uganda is pretty brutal. But there's like random things that aren't hard. Like they're making them. He can just go over and say tint it, and they'll make the water tower orange. So I think he has to commit to a few of them, which is fine. But anyway, yeah, it's that'll be up soon, which will be exciting. We'll drop a lot on that. But yeah,
they're actually going to not have black water towers anymore and paint them. They're actually going to get colored ones.
Yeah, and we were going to do that after number 3, but after number 3, we kind of knew we were making a change. I told him to pump the brakes and just paint it again. So he'll do that, but moving forward, they'll just be made in exactly the Pantone that we want, which is awesome. It's going to be wild. I mean, I'm working on it now, putting together a map, but to see all these orange towers popping up all over a mountain is pretty wild, especially a mountain and a climate like that the Mbali region or Mount Elgon, which is very, very dry. You know, they're able to take care of their crop even when there's a drought, which is great. And there's enough water supply there where they're able to use it for personal consumption, hygiene, whatever they want. So, we're moving and grooving, but it's really changing that landscape quite a bit, which is pretty wild.
Oh, yeah. So awesome.
Yeah, it really is.
Love. Yeah.
So a lot of cool stuff going on there, and this Enigma collection, that's great. Tomorrow we should hang with Gerard too and learn more about it. But Sean, we were also talking about the I think it's this, what's it called? Eternals collection.
And that drops on Friday.
So let me see. Let me pull that up. What's their handle? I just had it here.
Good things. I think their Twitter got suspended.
Yeah, here it is. I'll share this tab instead. So, yeah, these guys, what's going on with them? I heard a bit about it. They got the picture here with Danny and Michael Saylor. But are these guys a part of On Chain Monkey or?
No. They used to do the marketing for On Chain Monkey and kind of had a falling out. So they're off on their own. They do an Ordinal show, I think Tuesdays and Thursdays. And this is their new. Sorry, there's a helicopter flying over. There's a new. They're dropping this collection on Friday. I think there's 4,444. It's been some drama with whether they did the art themselves. They say they did, or contracted it out. I could care less either way.
Yeah, what's crypto without a little drama,
And there was a Bitcoin Bugsy was posting some stuff about it, saying, showing good things, telling them to fuck off on spaces, things like that. But the art looks cool. It's kind of, I feel like it's kind of like a club. I haven't dug into it that deep, but I feel like
it's kind of Japanese looking, or like anime slash.
It's like Greek god.
Yeah, it's like anime / comic book kind of pop art, right? It's really cool. So I'm reading this thing too. The drama coming from those people is essentially that they said they're the artist, but they're not, and they contracted it. Is that right?
Well, they contracted it.
Sean, I lost you,
they own it.
Sean. I see your mouth moving. I can't hear you.
Oh, yeah, that's what it boils down to in the end. I'm pretty sure.
I don't get what's the difference. Like if they contracted it, it is their art.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if they're saying they're the artist, but even if they are the creative force behind it and somebody else executes it, I don't know. Who gives a shit? Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, you tell them what lines to draw, and they draw the lines, and
Or it could be a mix.
You know,
It
they
could
will
be a
never
mix of
do.
both. You know?
It likely is a mix of both, right?
yeah. But anyway, it's pretty cool art. I like it. Like that one's super awesome.
Yeah, it's cool
Yeah.
because it is more artistic, but also could easily be obviously be used as a PFP. So it kind of, uniquely checks those two buckets in a different way than a lot of, there's always kind of that dichotomy between, art PFP and art on Bitcoin, let's call it. But this sort of is both.
Yeah, you're totally right. So it is different. I like that.
Yeah, and did these guys they didn't mint yet, or they're going to?
It's on the 4th on Magic Eden.
Oh, so no one minted yet. Did they have a whitelist or a pre-sale or anything?
Yeah, they got a big whitelist going. I don't know if it's full or not, but they've been showing these for at least 2 months now. It seems like.
Yeah, I think I've seen this before. I didn't know where it was. I actually didn't know it was even on Bitcoin, to be honest. I think it's one of those things where Bitcoin becomes so synonymous with orange backgrounds when it comes to anything that is even somewhat PFP related. So when I don't see the orange background, I probably didn't connect right away. But dude, it's cool stuff. Is there? I'll share. Is it strictly just an art play, or is there some other element to it?
I'm reading right now. I just got in their Discord. Elite circle of visionaries who recognize the cultural significance of this groundbreaking ordinal collection. Each piece is a muse, symbolizing standing the test of time for the collector who demands nothing but extraordinary. But the extraordinary, your piece of eternity awaits. So, I don't know. It seems like they have a Discord. They'll probably get whitelists, and they're really involved with the community. So
art with a little bit of lore and a community.
yeah.
Yep. So there's no other promise or anything like that, right? It's just a
Well, number go up if enough people like them. Kind of name of the game.
Yeah, it is. No, totally. I mean, yeah.
For now, right?
Well, yeah, and we talked about it yesterday, the whole Taproot and Quantum Cats thing. But it seems like I'm looking at it now. The floor came back a bit, right?
Yeah, it did. The Taproot did.
And I'm sort of surprised that I guess that it had that volatility and went down so fast because they brought in what? Like, did I read that right? Like $25 million?
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't buy up that sell. I mean, you had plenty of capital to do so.
Well, that's probably why it went up. Just kidding. So I also saw that they were going to use $1 million of it or whatever to sweep the floors of big projects.
That'd be cool.
But didn't see if that was actually happening or are all these floors up today? Because that was yesterday. I see Peach the Ninja up.
I don't know. There might be some wash trading going. It looks like a lot of the same wallets are buying them right now. Activity.
Yeah, we might see this volatility in Taproots for a minute.
Well, it's not. I mean, yeah, no, the wash trade. I mean, that's going to have them listed top on volume, but floor price going up would mean that they're buying them, which seems proactive and something that people would like, right? That's the wash trading thing, or I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but if it is, that's, it keeps them at the top of the chart, whatever. But That doesn't affect floor price, right?
Well, no, it does affect floor price, I believe. Or is that just
That's
volume?
just volume.
No, it's the floor. The floor's up 12%.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
but I think wash trading can drive the price up too.
Yeah, and so,
Indirectly, I think, right?
yeah. So that's just speculation. We're just speculating.
Yeah.
But I mean, as a trader or somebody that's kind of on top of what's going on, I mean, buy the floor when you think it's at a low, and it just brings another trading aspect to it. If you can sell it,
Mhm.
right, if the floor is actually being sold at the top.
Well, you know, idiots had what they called the idiot tax, and the communities that they gave whitelist to, those that minted the most in percentage of how many whitelist spots they got, they went and bought a bunch of whatever collection. Like they bought a bunch of on-chain monkeys because a bunch of on-chain monkeys minted idiots. So I think that's a cool thing to do. Is
I like the idiots collection.
Yeah, help you
and community.
I'm an idiot.
I am too.
I am too.
And I obsessed on that thing the night that I guess I came to it late. And I was obsessing on which one. I actually like the one I got. Maybe we'll use it next week. Maybe get those guys on or something and throw them up there. But it's one of the.
It's easiest to interact on X, right, with comments. I mean, it's the funnest.
Yeah, it is.
Most fun.
It is.
It reminded, and I think we'll do this, but it also reminded me a bit of, you remember when you guys don't, I mean, Sean, I don't know when you stopped being on ETH, but the Nakamigos, I thought that was a genius collection just because you could pick something that was relatable to you, had enough different kind of trait categories where you didn't need to, but if you wanted to, like I had a bald one smoking a cigarette. I don't smoke cigarettes, but I vaped at the time. But it made it personal to an extent. And there were so many of them. I mean, there's 20,000 in that collection. But something about idiots felt like that a little bit. Like I like the bearded ones because I usually have a bit of a beard. But how are they? I think they've gone down a bit, right?
Probably a little bit.
How many is in their collection?
I think 10,000. I think they airdropped whatever they didn't mint.
Yeah, I mean, that makes it a little easier for the floor price to, more to get listed. Floor prices get driven down, but that's good. I could pick some up at some time. So some more up.
Yeah, they're only 30. I mean, the floor is at 0.00043, so $37. I think when I got mine, I bought one for like 200, but it wasn't a floor, so I don't know what the comp would be. I think the floor was around 70, but it's like that's to be expected. It comes out hot and then it'll settle in a bit. I think
the fun interaction on X, just with the community in general, I think it's going to be around for a long time. So, I mean, I'll be sweeping the floor.
It brings up something that's like super obvious, but I was talking with our marketing director, Fiona, earlier today, right? And we were talking about like, okay, because she's completely new, right? Comes from a background with Black Rifle Coffee and Nike and whatever, so she's not specifically in the Ordinal space. So she's kind of learning as she goes, and in a lot of ways compared to at least Sean, so am I, right? And it's this weird thing where, okay, so let's say it's idiots or on-chain monkey or pizza ninjas or whatever, right? The value is to me in the community, right? And speaking firsthand from on-chain monkey, the value that I've gotten for what the floor price, let's say, is right now is dramatically in my favor, right? Was able to get a lot more out of it, right? Almost liken it to a country club where the network effect, the network alone, even if it didn't even have art, I'm in, right? And the fact that I actually do like their art a lot is helpful, but the value prop's there, right? So really, I think it's the community and price go up, right? Those are the two things. And I think a lot of times if it's a great community, it's not as contingent upon price go up, right? You're able to withstand some storms because, hey, people are going to hold on, not just hoping that it goes back up or mad it went down. The value of being there and in that community is worth it. But it's, it gets to be odd, or it's a weird paradigm because number one is, you only use one as a PFP. And I would argue you do extract maximum value if you're in the community and using it as a PFP. It's just obvious. People can see it. It's easier to hit somebody up. It's easier to network if you have the same collection. So then if you're not using it as a PFP, the value then does get really wonky, right? Like if you have a bunch of collections, granted, you can get in the Discord, you can still do all those things. I get it entirely. But the second you don't use it, it's very PvP. So if people leave, it looks like they're leaving you, right? It's almost like that they're leaving the community. And it diminishes the value a lot by not using it, right? It's almost like put all your eggs in the basket of the collection that you like, use it as your PFP and kind of maximize that community. And what happens, it seems like, is if you don't have a strong community, like let's say an on-chain monkey, and you're reliant too much on price go up, once that goes down, people are pissed off, not going to use it as a PFP, and it has like this spiral down effect. So it is weird. It's a shame. Like I remember when badges came out, next to your name, you have multiple badges. And I thought just from a social media platform perspective, it would have been awesome to be able to have multiple badges, right? To a normie, that could be their favorite sports teams, their alma mater, the company they work for, or whatever. And in our world, it could be very much, hey, I'm in On-Chain Monkey, I am in Pizza Ninjas, and I'm in Taproot. And you're able to flex your tribes. I think that's healthy and good. I wish X operated that way. It doesn't, but that would be a way to, I think it would work for people in the space and out of the space. But anyway.
It is interesting because I think a lot of people in the ecosystem do buy multiple collections, right? But they're only sporting one PFP that they build a kind of their own brand upon, right? And they usually choose the one where they get the most connections. And so they're kind of stuck with that one if they, or people know them by the PFP instead of like by their name. That's why it's good to have like an easy name to read, like a 4-letter name as your, profile name. But yeah, so I mean, if you're known to switch them, I think people get used to that and know you, and they just know you by your name. So there's different ways to go about it. But I agree with you. It is kind of
like to compound it, it's even worse because when you change your PFP on X, you lose your blue check mark. So you really don't want to, and if you do, it's long term. It's not like you could switch it around, even hop into space and flex yours, and then go back to whatever one you want to use. It makes it where you silo, and it kind of it's a shitty ecosystem, and I think it affects ordinals far more than anything else. Is that PFP? It's reliant on, if you want to extract the value, which is community, then you got to only pick one. So it kind of encourages you not to be in many. I think it's crappy. You can throw it in your banner and stuff, which I know a lot of people do. I think, Sean, you do that too. But I don't know. I've probably seen your banner one time.
And then, so what's the ultimate goal? Let's one PFP and you're working that, or you're engaging with that community, so you draw more attention. You're hoping that your PFP or your ordinal goes up, but really your efforts are driving the rest of the collection to go up. And so, I mean, is there a point? I mean, I would say, that 80% of the people are here for price to go up, and at some point they're going to sell. There's some that will keep theirs forever, but most will sell at some point. So are they really just kind of riding the community wave, and then when they sell, they're kind of they kind of put themselves in a difficult situation to kind of, I don't know. So my point is like, are they extracting, or are they? It's a little bit of both, I guess. But if their point is to sell it, I guess the collection doesn't care, because if they sell it at a high price, somebody else buys it, and sports it, then
I think you want people, buying and selling your collection for volume, but man, I have a hard time selling any of my stuff. I missed the boat like 99% of the time if I should have sold it or not.
Yeah, and I feel like and this is a compliment. I feel like you are atypical. Like you're in it deeper, and I think even more, symbolically and philosophically than most people are, right? So yeah, I'm just, for the person, like, again, having this conversation earlier, it's like, okay, and again, and I'm not saying this for any other reason other than I truly believe it, but with On-Chain Monkey, I think it's worth every penny, right? But that's a steep barrier to entry for everyday people, right? $3,000 to drop for a digital community, if it's not what you're doing or it's not a big part of your life, that's real, right? It's a real amount of money. So yeah, it makes it difficult, but it is what it is. I think a few changes on the platform could make it better, but I don't think that's happening. I think the fact that they took away remember they had the hexagons. Do you remember that? If you had your NFT and you connected it to Twitter, it would show your PFP as a hexagon. Please tell me you remember that.
Yeah, I remember.
Like that was another thing too, because it eliminated, like, back then you saw a Bored Ape with a hexagon, love him, hate him. It's like, oh damn, like that guy's got some cash. Like he's got a $500,000, $250,000 PFP. He's real. It at least was something. I don't know. But they took that down, and kind of, I think, was a big step in. It was at the end of the bear, or probably at the height of the bear, but in tail end when sentiment was lowest, and then that happened. I wonder if they could go back, seeing the resurgence of things like meme coins and digital communities, if they would have done it again. But I wouldn't bank on it changing.
Other communities do love when, like, let's say, somebody sporting an idiot PFP is interacting with the On-Chain Monkey community. Like they fully accept, and love engaging with them, because that's a potential, either they own one, or they're going to own one. And that's kind of why I like the Ordinal community ecosystem so much, is because each community is, they're like, hey, yeah, interact with our collection, with our community. So that's pretty cool. But usually what happens is people hold these things when, and then at the top they get like max euphoric, right? Because when usually historically NFT collection, or NFTs in general, would like peak fast, right? There'd be a huge NFT run, and then at the top is like peak euphoria. Everybody's buying everything, and then people that are holding for a long time still hold, and they don't sell during that time, because you feel so much joy. You just naturally don't want to kill that joy by selling when you should be selling, if you're looking to not hold it forever. But some of these are forever holds. I'll say that.
Yeah, I'm not showing any hands here, or showing our hand here, but I kind of break down the whole. I think about the PFP. I think it's such an interesting, like, cultural phenomenon, right? Before NFTs, let's say everybody had social media. You put a picture of yourself, right? And it would be weird. You went on Facebook back then. You might see someone put their favorite sports team or something, but it was weird. Like it wasn't like, it'd be like your weird neighbor that did that, right? Or somebody who was really embarrassed because they put on a lot of weight since high school, which would be me, but I still put my face up there. And then you have NFTs come, and like, not only is it not you, it's something that's not real. And in fact, if anybody else saw it, it would be odd to put on there, right? I really do think people live separate lives on Facebook and Instagram than they do X. It's almost
Yeah.
like keep those things separate. What I'm talking about, especially if you're in the ordinal space or in NFT space or crypto, it's like, don't look at me here. This is where I'm a different person, which I actually think is maybe even more authentic if you think about it, right? Because you're able to state your opinion, have your interest, and it's not really tied to who you are in real life. I think there's something beautiful about that. But I then break down what people are doing, in the ordinal space, right? So if you have an ordinal as your PFP, right? I think, you want people to know that you're a part of said community, but really you also want people to know that you're in this industry, like you're in this space, right? So I think what's unique about ordinals, different than NFTs on ETH or anything like that, is that you really achieve that by an orange background, right? The orange background says, I'm into this, right? This is something I'm into. This is whatever. And, I do think that there is something about the anonymity, which is important. I think people really do value that. So you don't want to show your real face. I get that. But I feel like you need to bridge a little bit. Like I would, you go into a Twitter space and you're talking to somebody and you have no idea, like at all, what you got going on. You see you don't know if they're real. You don't know anything about them. You have like some reference point as to who they are, their character, whatever. It's not there. I wonder if there is an opportunity where you could create an ordinal. It signals that you're in the Bitcoin space or in the ordinal space, and at the same time not tie you to one. Like, what is the anti one community perspective? Like it almost become more natural to have one that shows you're in the space, and then you can flex the different communities you're in. You don't have to be PvP and choose one.
Something that represents you, so you can build that brand no matter what collection you jump from. And
exactly.
so,
You're always constant. You are you.
yeah,
Right. And if you don't want to be, it doesn't have to like be you, look like you, but just some persona that is your home base and signals to everybody else that this is what I'm into. So obviously you're down for, you're down for, having different ordinals and being a part of different communities, but it doesn't just shackle you into, I used to be a part of this, now I'm a part of this, but I still want to show everybody I'm into ordinals so that when I comment, I don't look like a normie. Like I think there's power in something that represents the space.
Well, that's why X allows pictures on comments. You can copy your ordinal the collection that you are into at that time on every single comment that you do. Those comments do better anyway.
Yeah, totally. And I think ultimately people just want to know, like, I think there's something weird where you don't want to comment. If it's your normal face commenting, it looks like you are not one of us, right? It looks like you are, if somebody has an ordinal project or even about crypto, crypto is a little different, but someone has an ordinal project and, XYZ person, they put up something interesting and I go to comment on it and it's me. I look like I'm not really invested in ordinals. I look like I'm new to the space. It looks like I'm an outsider. So if there's some sort of in between where you are it's obvious that you're a part of the space. And I mean, to me, I feel more mature doing that even. Like I don't feel like you don't know, someone doesn't know, the space is relatively young and I don't want to be a 20-year-old in the space. I would love it if I was 20, but I'm not. So if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it makes a ton of sense. I actually look at it different. So when I see somebody that has their face or something that represents what they may look like or be into, or like somewhat their face, whether it's an animated deal, whatever. If they're building, have always kept that and then always posted what collection they're into, it makes me feel like that this is somebody that has built such a brand around himself that he's actually more of somebody that you want to embrace, because I just feel like those guys usually have more followers because they're more recognizable. They're more like you know a lot more about them than just the PFP they're representing. And so I look at that, and I've seen a lot of people that do that. it's because they've built a brand. They've been in the space for so long that they've gone from collection to collection. But when they're really excited about a collection, they don't change their PFP. They just post a picture of the PFP and write comments, and they're just as embraced or even more so.
No, I agree. I think it's one of those things where you're right. If it's something that's commenting and it's a picture of somebody, it's either they're important and they've been around and they have a strong personal brand, or they're brand new and they look out of place. And I think 90% of the time, I assume the latter. I do think that, there is an opportunity to kind of shed the PvP, right? It's not about the value of the PFP. Shows that you're in the space, but also doesn't shackle you to choosing one versus the other.
Even if it is the latter, and they are a noob, look like a noob coming into the ordinal space, so that's why they're showing their face or like a representation of them. That even draws more attention to that person that's interested in ordinals, because that's like fresh blood. That's like a new convert into the ecosystem.
Yeah, and you usually see them. Like, the truth is, whenever you see that, I agree. I know what you're saying, but you usually see them quickly adopt and jump into a community. It's like, hey, I'm here, and it's like fresh meat. It's like, oh, but
then they're like everybody else, in that collection. Yeah, well, they do get embraced. I've been down this path. They do get embraced at the beginning.
Yep.
Right. But then they just get washed out with everybody else. And if they're not as good of a keyboard warrior, then, So,
yeah, that's the whole thing. It's like you have to invest in being a keyboard warrior. It's like you're going to come out of the gates hot, commenting on everything, and then you're not, and you kind of. So I follow you. I agree 100% on that.
Need a little more. It brings more authenticity to the space, and it makes it actually more appealing to more people to get involved in the community. That's what I think. I mean, people can keep their PFPs as the collection they're into. That's totally cool. Especially if they're building their brand around it and plan to keep it forever. That's totally fine. I just think that there's nothing wrong with having your face or representation of who you are.
Oh no, I think it's healthier. I think for somebody who's not going to commit their life and soul to Web3, I think it's a smaller ask. Either keep what you have, but so I think there's something there. I think there's
and they're most likely associated with other communities that's outside the crypto space. I mean, Twitter X is not just crypto. I mean, it's a lot crypto, but there's
so sort of yes and no, right? You better be just crypto, otherwise you can't really live in both worlds. It's the truth. If you're passive and you just want to check things out, but if you want to, I think part of it is the perception of people in the space, and people don't. You're either going to be yourself, and you're never really going to be fully immersed, or you kind of sell your soul. You get one and stop posting about anything else, because if you start posting about politics as well as crypto, whatever, you get all screwed up in the algo, because they don't know who to target. So you're not going to get as much exposure. And if you want to play the game, you can't get lost in the algo. It's weird.
Yeah,
right?
But that's bad for the space. I think that's the point where.
Well, it's bad for the space. I agree. But what do you expect people to do? Like anybody. But then you can't. It comes back to that point. It's the same reason nobody's posting about ordinals or NFTs on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, because you don't really want people to know that this is what you're doing.
Yeah, but it could start on X. Like if you're in these circles where you're just commenting on, let's say, Elon stuff, or you're just commenting on either political, or whatever different genres there are, and you are your person, and all those people follow your own person, your own brand, whether it's your picture, all those other people that are following you. When you make a post with a PFP picture in your post that you're that you just got into. It looks more like, okay, this is still a normal to the normie people, okay, like, or outside of NFTs, like they assume, okay, this person's still normal, but getting into the space. So like it's creating that bridge. It's like, well, okay, so I can stay normal too, but this person found Ordinal is interesting. And so, okay, so if this guy, found something interesting, maybe I will. And so it brings a lot more people into the ecosystem.
No, I think all of it comes together when there's stuff in the ecosystem that's not embarrassing to show people you have. I think that's the like, it's not like it's not gonna onboard people into getting a $20,000 Taproot wizard. It's not.
Okay, then what is it? Is it because if right now, if the normal kind of reason of being in it is because number go up, right? Hopefully number goes up, and then I can sell it and make some money, so I can tell my wife, so she's not mad that I bought this PFP or whatever. But so, or my parents or my cousins at the Thanksgiving dinner, whatever. But if it's like more based on like relative value, that because there's a medium, there's community value, there's what the price could go up to, and if you do prove that you did make that money, then that's looked good, you played the game well or whatever. But if there's real value and community and I mean, we could go down the list of
yeah, but I think the conundrum is what makes price go up, right? Rabid posting, schizophrenic posting is what makes price go up. And you're not going to schizophrenic post if it's not your PFP, and you're also don't want people to see the real you if you're schizophrenic posting. So it's like a conundrum, right? It's like a vicious cycle. I don't know what the answer is, but
hey, well, one thing that this can kind of dovetail into or segue into, not that I want to change the topic, but so with like Circle IPOing second quarter of this year with JP Morgan and whatever bank, they tried to IPO twice, right? In the last administration, last bull run, whatever, and it was unsuccessful because of regulations, right? But deregulations in banks and crypto, it's likely that they will IPO in second quarter of this year, and Circle, and that owns the USDC stablecoin, right? And so that's a big event. That's going to bring the world more into cryptocurrencies, right? And so I could, let's see, I forgot where I was going with this, but but it's it legitimizes the space is really kind of what I was
stable coins do, because it's a value people understand. That's it, right? I mean, it's an easy one because it's $1. Everybody understands $1. So I think the value, it's an easy narrative to communicate and get people to say, oh, that makes sense, because it makes sense. And I think, whether that's USDC or projects that have a value prop that makes sense, it's a win. Is that in a way what you're saying?
Yeah. There's inherent value. There's actual value with that, because what they can do is all the US dollars that they have from people buying USDC, Circle can use those actual dollars, that's 1-to-1 to USDC, and buy treasuries, government treasuries with them, and those produce like a 4.2% yield. And so there's probably about 40 billion USDC in circulation right now, and 4.2% yield a year, is a little about over $1 billion that they in yield. So that'll grow the whole ecosystem in general. So
I don't know.
Coming in, real value coming in, and so people are going to be spotting real value instead of just speculative value. Like, what can they count on? They can count on 4.2%, right? As of 2024, but so that's real value. I think people will be looking at actual relative value, like what they get right away, and then kind of the perceived value after that. I think that's where, so it's not just all speculative. So you're just trying to like pump the community, just hope price goes up, and then you can sell, and you feel bad that you sell because you really kind of leaving all your friends in a way, or it seems like. And so if there's real value attached, then all the other valuable aspects like community connection and start doing actual good in the space, in the world. Actually, a lot of these projects do some good, so that's valuable as well.
No, I agree. I just think it's anything that is easy to explain, it has a higher probability of catching traction, right? And USDC is beyond simple to explain, and I think as projects have value that are explained intrinsically without needing education, I think it's a good thing, because everything else is so hard to explain that it's not getting anybody else into the space, right? So it's not better art. Honestly, is not going to do it, right? If you came in, if art did it, you'd be in. It could get better and evolve. I believe in all that. I think it's better for us, and some people will come in, but I think that beating the same narrative over and over is a fool's errand.
There is a new narrative coming in. I think that's why Hafka's my favorite guy in the space.
Hafka's my favorite dude in the space
because he is so real, and he's real. I really love his art, and I believe he loves his art, which is like the most important thing. Like, if he doesn't actually love his art, if he's making the art for him, like as if he really likes it, I mean, I really like it, because it destroys an artist's ability to do really good art if they try to perceive what other people think will look good. I really like how a lot of his art is very personal to him, and he's really good at it. I've got one of them as my screensavers. I'm very excited for him.
I agree. I think we have some cool stuff coming up with him too that we'll end up announcing. Kind of everything, I think, in like a firestorm. But we're up on the hour here. I think today is one of our biggest that we've ever had. My personal is at 300 viewers, and I'm looking at everybody else too. And I didn't know if you click on it, you can see everybody. If you hover over that little eye icon, you can see where people are coming from. But great space, or great stream, and I think we'll have more coming obviously this week into next. So I don't know if you guys want to close out with anything, or we'll shut this thing down.
Yeah, I'm good. It was a great space. Good talking to you.
Thanks for coming out, everyone.
Beautiful. All right, we'll see everybody tomorrow. Thank you, guys.